Welcome back, guys. Dr. Mike, physical therapist. Now we are back at it with the Doing It Wrong series. This is a specific series that I created to help go over some of the most common exercises that I see people do incorrectly. Today we are going over the donkey kick. It's probably an exercise that you've seen people do many times in the gym, and I've just seen so many people do this incorrectly. And one, not only are you increasing your risk for an injury, but two, you're just wasting your time. So we want to make sure that you're using the proper form and technique so that you are really getting the maximum benefit out of training your glutes and your hamstrings. You've probably seen this exercise done, and most people simply get in this quadruped position. We call it quadruped, with your hands stacked underneath your shoulder and your knees stacked underneath your hips, and then they just start moving. They just start kicking their leg up. And there's so many little bits and pieces to this exercise that you have to focus on in order to use this to your maximum benefit. Now, the first key with this exercise is what's going on with your upper body. One of the common mistakes I see people make here is they simply just have soft elbows and they're not really paying attention to the base of support underneath them, so their hand support here. So they'll do this exercise and you'll see them, they'll kind of lean forward just because they're trying so hard to get that hip and that hip extension behind them, okay? So they're really focusing on too much of the legs and not really focusing on what's going on with their upper body. So the focus should be is trying your best to keep those elbows straight and locked out and keep a nice flat back so that you are properly performing this exercise, okay? Now the second tip that I want to give you guys is focusing on really initiating your abs where your belly button is. So you're kind of presetting your core muscles, all of the muscles of the abdominal, and you're tightening them up before you start moving your leg, okay? There's such a thing that we call in the physical therapy world, and that is proximal stability before distal mobility. I have to be stable and tight through my midline or my core muscles before I start moving my limbs, like my leg or my arm. So what most people commonly do incorrectly is they don't even care about what's going on with their core muscles. They simply just start kicking and really raising their legs so high. And this is where you see the mistake, where they kick so high that they start to rotate their pelvis. So their pelvis is turning, and now we're really not isolating the glutes and the hamstrings like what we're trying to do. So if you focus on first initiating or tightening your abdominals, really focus on squeezing those abdominals. You might even see my tailbone kind of almost feel like it's tucking underneath me. You're not excessively rounding your back, but you're just focusing on a nice tight stomach there. Now from this position, now you can start to raise that foot upwards in that position there. Now, the last mistake that I see people make with this exercise is they start to extend their leg as they're kicking their leg behind them. So as they're going backwards, they find it so hard to kick behind them, they start to straighten out that leg and really start to cheat on this exercise. One easy quick tip, if you have just a small aired up ball, something like this, it can be even a bigger size than this. You're gonna wrap this in between, behind your knee there. Now what you're going to do is now my leg is keeping the ball together there. If I let go and I extend my knee and I cheat, the ball's gonna fall out. So keeping that leg nice and tight on the ball, now I'm gonna focus on kicking that heel all the way up towards the ceiling and then lowering back down. Using this method with the ball there also allows me to focus on good quality movement through the hip, and also allows me to focus on really filling and isolating the muscles in the right area there, okay? So there you have it. Those are some easy tips that you can use for the donkey kicks. Now, if there is a specific exercise that you would like for me to cover in this series, please comment below on what specific exercise you want me to do. In the meantime, to support my channel, I really appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want more videos on how to correct your form with specific exercises, you can check out my playlist here. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one.